My name is Sonia Sabardeil, Sabardeil. I'm a French actress. I started my theater at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. And since then, I've been working in a lot of plays. Can be Shakespeare, can be Molière, can be modern plays, can be creations and stuff, and a lot of short films. The last one is A Wimboe by Sabine Crossen that I did last year. I'm doing also lots of voiceovers and practice. I do a lot of. I started to do jujitsu. I started to do some tai chi and horse riding, and I'm working a lot. I've been starting to do a lot of writing. I wrote my own play lately. It's with music and dancing and acting, obviously. And you can find me on Spotlight, and my number is 557901996350. And you can find me on Backstage under my last name, Sabardeil. And on Instagram, in Sonia Sabardeil, and you can see me on that as well. And on Live Voices, there's a monologue about it, about me doing a crazy person. And that's about it. Thank you. There's ups and downs, but even the downs you learn. You just take it with you and just sometimes sometimes it's been hard. Sometimes you meet people who are trying to take advantage of you, but you learn from that, and actually you can put that also in your roles, and and be prepared for the next time. But so far so good. I mean, as long as like I said, as long as I'm playing, I'm great. I'm happy. Meeting people. I'm meeting you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for finding me, being interesting in my profile. So it's flattering. And also right now, in June was not a great month because I didn't have anything. And July, even if it's a workshop, I'm just meeting all these great people. We're 25 people in total with the casting directors, and everybody's great. Everybody's fun. Every single one of them. There's not one person who's not a nice person. It's just great. It's rare because sometimes you always have someone who's but everybody's really nice. And even if you mess up your shot, you think, okay, action, and you just mess up, no one's going to be like, she's so bad. No one's going to criticize. No one is. It's always in good humor. Everybody's kind and everything. So it's great and professional. Also at the same time. Yeah. So so far so good. I can't complain. The only thing, if you know any casting directors, but I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but it's just I just want to be in films, and as soon as I do that, then everybody will be awesome, I think. Yeah.
If you could go back in time to when you were 16, would you do anything differently?
We could tend to say yes. In the same time, I think what I learned, what I experienced made me who I am today. And maybe I should have told myself to be more to believe in myself, because I always believed in my dream, but I was always waiting for someone to believe in me before I believe in myself. But it's hard to do, right? It's like asking someone, can you believe in me? But I don't believe in myself. Stuff. So that would be because even if I said I should have stayed in London when I did RADA and did not stop for 5 years doing doing acting, I stopped acting for 5 years. But as I learned, I did experiences. I went to America. I met people there, great people. I'm still in touch with, getting in touch with, and we haven't seen each other for 7 years, but we're still talking on the internet. So no, I don't think I would, because I would be otherwise it would be so different. If you change something, it will be different now. So I don't know where I would be now. So no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
More confident.
When the director says action, when the director says action, do you find that you become that person that you are portraying? Like, do you kind of like get into this zone to where you are actually now that person?
Yes and no, because actually before we say action, you prepare and you tell them, okay, I'm ready. And then silence, rolling, action. So you're already into it, but you need to put yourself in just right before the action. I understand what your question is. You just need to put yourself in. You need to know where you can, because you know that in films we don't start the beginning and film the end at the end. Sometimes we film the end at the very, very beginning. So you need to know where your character is, what happened to him just right before, and what's going to happen. Well, you don't know what's going to happen next, but so you need to know your character by heart, his story and everything, in order to know where you're at, to be as truthful as you can to the character, to the story of the character. So you need to be in a zone in a way, because you need to, the emotion, you need to know your emotion, the beginning, because it's going to change towards the end of the scene. The goal, your relationship with the person you're talking to, all at the same time, because it can be your sister, it can be your enemy, can be a stranger, can be anyone. So you need to have that prepared. Like as long as you're prepared, like Michael Caine said, prepare your everything and then learn your lines by heart, so you can forget them. And then just when they say action, you just come out like this, and you don't know it's text. So you need to be in a zone to be ready. But Marlon Brando did. I don't know if you remember, if you learn about that story. But sometimes he would be like talking to you, like he was talking to a crew member, and people say, "Yeah, it's gonna be you." Like, yeah, action, and you would go, because he was preparing himself in the role with that person by talking to him, and he kept going. But we said action and kept going the scene with that person. Okay. Sometimes, that's how you do that. Or if you have to run, you're just going to do some, I don't know, push-ups right before. Right. So if there's some preparation, in a way, there is, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, if I wanted to be an actor, what advice would you give me? What do you think I should work on? How would I start?
Well, there's someone in the group I'm in with the workshop. That's this really first. When he did a scene, that was his very, very first time with me. It was actually with me. And it's just like, go and do it. Just like take a text and just try to get loose and just do this thing without thinking, just do it and feel natural. And then after that, maybe have a coach or two, like to do those workshops. So you learn how to place your voice if you do the theater, because you need to shout without hurting yourself. And when it comes to movies, how to, like I said, the position, the camera is here. So if you do this, we won't see your eyes. So you can do it up to here, but with all those kind of stuff to learn. But if you want to be an actor, I would say just, go ahead and just meet people, go there, to a casting if you can, and or a workshop, and just learn from that. Start there, maybe. Yeah. Okay. I would love to play that. I always play like crazy people, apparently, and crazy also people. Leaders, and like I don't know, like with like as a bipolar people, or someone who's really like from a group leader, but has like tent of craziness in his eyes, spark right there and his stuff. Yeah. And actually it's fun. The weirder person is, the funnier it is to play. So it's always good to play, as long as you have flaws. Like as long as the character has flaws, it's so good to play. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, are you being typecasted at this point? Because you're saying you're kind of playing some of the same characters.
Yeah, well, like are you an actor? No?
No, I'm not an
Are
actor.
you?
No,
Yeah, okay.
no.
Okay. But in any case, when we see you at the beginning, when you start, when you're not a famous person or anything, we tend to give you like, oh, you should play this and not that. Like, for instance, I never played Juliet from Romeo and Juliet because I never looked like, I don't know, naive or I don't know. But yeah, we will always give me like, I would play all the way the nurse or Mercutio, or, I would always play someone who has like some, I don't know, a temper or something. Someone, yeah, I don't know why, because I'm in real life, I'm so different. I'm not that,
Yeah.
but it's fun here. It's fun to play. It's fun to play. So, but yeah, we have some types of characters, like people who, like a lawyer, a cop. I could play a bad, like, yeah, the bad guy, like bad girl in a way. We tend to give me those roles and not necessarily like roles where we like a bit, I don't know, absent-minded people. Really can be like, I can do funny roles, but we're never going to give me like the person who's really naive and pure and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just discovering life, even when I was like 15, it just
Yeah.
never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we always have a type at the beginning. And then as soon as you know what's good for you, then when you start to know directors and stuff, we might give you like, I would like her to play this. I never seen her in that. So let's put her in this role or something.
What do you do to stay sharp as an actor? I see that you're taking workshops, but do you do stuff in addition to workshops?
Yeah, well, I'm still doing like once in a while. I always do like work on the monologue or the scene, and then I just put my phone and
Yeah.
it just so I have always new self tapes, and also it's a practice because some more and more, like often now it's like the casting director is going to call you. It's like, hey, can you send, this is the text, can you send me a video by tomorrow morning? And you just have to do it. And so it's practicing from the memory, be ready, sharp, and just send videos and stuff. And then for maybe having like, yeah, when you get called to a casting, you're ready to just try to give your best and then see how it goes. So the workshops, I'm working on it with a coach because I want to practice on my English and not just play French person all the time. It's fun, but sometimes interesting to do different things. And what else? Yeah, working on the breathing, trying to meet people. Like I'm watching a lot of movies. To know what's going on. It's very interesting to know what's going on, who's doing what, who's producing what. And also like when you meet someone, it's like, hey, I saw you. Yeah, I saw you in that movie. Let's talk. And
Yeah.
so it's and try, and also because I can't stay for like one day doing nothing. It's already too long for me.
Yeah.
I need to do stuff, otherwise I just
Yeah.
I've done quite a lot of theaters actually. I would love to do movies more, but you need to know casting directors. It's really hard, and I didn't have an agent until I had a really bad one last year, really, really bad. And now I have a new one, but I don't know how she works. So maybe we're going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Stay positive. And, and short film. I've done a lot of theaters and films basically for now. But rarely, I've been like here and there, like in films, but it was like, as an extra for some, like, sometimes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you weren't acting, what else would you be doing if you weren't acting?
I tried that, and
Okay.
for 5 years I stopped. Yeah, I stopped for 5 years, between 22 and 27. I'm 34, and I was not good. I was not feeling good. I was like a zombie or something. But because I did a lot of all types of jobs, all kinds of jobs. And first, because sometimes I start just like, okay, what else could I do? So I did become a flight attendant at some point. I was in passenger agents, the people who like checking your visas and passports and luggage at the airport.
Yeah.
Checking and checkouts, and working, I don't know, as a manager in the restaurants, a waitress, bartender, barmaid, in hotels as well, I did all kinds of work. But now I'm like when people, my family who's not into the acting world, like I'm the only one's an artist in my family, they're like, what else would you do because you're 30 and what else can you do? And I'm like, well, if you ask me not to act, I know it's going to sound big, but like if you don't asking me not to act would be like as if you're telling me not to breathe. So I don't know how, I can't explain it better. It just,
no, that's perfect.
I have to play.
That's perfect. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. And I mean, you kind of understand that that's what that's what you are, and that's that's who you have to be. And I understand that. The alternative though might be to work behind the camera. Have you ever thought about that, like writing, screenwriting, or being a director or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually did. Even when I was at RADA, Royal Academy. I coached some actors and I directed some plays as well. Like lately, I've wrote 2 short films and a play. I just wrote a play. So I'm doing stuff. I'm always dreaming. So there's always like something going on, and I'm just creating stories all the time. But I know that I would love to direct. I think it would be really fun, but I need to play at some point. Like, I can't just do that, because then I would direct and I'm like, I just want to be on the camera as well. It's just, like I would be like, the worst would be actually in theater, because like you're rehearsing and everything, you're directing and stuff. And then you just see the actors on the stage and you're watching them. It's great. But you're like, I wish I'd be there as well on stage playing with them, So I know I would love to do it, but not all the time, basically.
Yeah. Well, you said earlier, like, staying positive is key. How do you stay positive? Because I know you don't get every role that you attempt to get. So how do you stay positive?
It's a work in progress. But it's always like also a member of your family that is not well necessarily. So you're like, okay, I'm healthy. I should not complain and stuff. And also sometimes sometimes because we're all human. There's some ups and downs, obviously. The lockdown was a big down.
Yes, very big down for all of us. Yes.
Yeah, it was really hard for everyone. So, but yeah, then at some point you're like, okay, just as soon as you can go out and just meet people and listen to the stories of everybody, try to meet people, positive people. And then from there, you're like, okay, I don't have anything right now. I'm just going to do a workshop. So I'm doing a workshop at the moment. And so I'm meeting casting directors and actors, and when you listen to their story, you're like, wow, it's amazing. They have amazing stuff, amazing stories to tell. And so from there, and you're like, okay, let's be positive, and something's going to happen. It has to be, because I don't want to do anything else. So yeah, that's the only way. I'm just doing that. I'm like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to keep working, keep meeting people, and maybe at some point it will work out. I don't have any other advice. Like, yeah, what else?
Yeah. Well, what do you think it's going to take for you to be able to break in?
Some luck. I think a lot of work as well. Be at the right place at the right time, but also, in order to do that, you need to go out and meet people and everything, and then also not to be afraid to say, I want to work with you. You know, it's just sometimes I'm just scared to do that because I'm like, if you want to work with me, you would tell me, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's interesting just to say, you have to say like, it's like the casting director, they're telling us every single time you have something going on, a new photo or something new happening, send us an email. We won't answer back, but maybe at some point when you send us that email, we might have a role and be like, oh, she would fit. And they call you. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of, keep contacting people, trying to meet people. And even like I'm writing stuff also because I'm like, okay, I'm not having a role, so I'm going to write it, find a director and just going to do it together. So yeah, and by doing that, I guess at some point it would come out. It would just start. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the game kind of changed when COVID hit to self-taping, right? Like you weren't going in-person auditions anymore. Is that here to stay? Self-tapes?
I'd say, more and more. But like when it comes to big roles, like main roles, we start to self-tape if you can't be there, like if you can't go there, because let's say I'm in Paris and they're asking me to come to LA, they would just ask me for a self-tape. But if the role is a main role or a very important role, they would ask me anyway for a callback and meet me in person, I think. So there's still this happening. I know in France, we are doing more castings in person than England or America or any other part of the countries. I don't know the other ones, but we're still doing this. Like they ask us to do a self-tape if it's a really small role, or if we just can't be in town at the time they ask us to be in. So, but yeah, it's because it's easier, it's cheaper, I think, for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think, So it would, So we have to, actors have to become directors, and we have to do everything basically to stand a good self-tape.
Yeah. Well, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer to be in person, or do you mind self-taping, or?
I think because there's still a lot of stress, but when you go in as a person, because when you self-taping, you can do like 20 and no one will know. And you still do the right one, and casting, if you have 3 takes most of the time, maximum. You have 3 takes, and you have to do those 3 takes, and we don't know. But I like to meet people in person because it's more, I don't know, it's different vibe. It's different, on a screen is different. You don't necessarily meet. You need to meet to know if it's going to work. But what's hard on a self-tape is just that you need to be a very good director, because you need to put the right image, and no one's here to coach you, so you don't know if you're going on the right direction. Whereas when you're going into casting, you can do something and they say, okay, you did drama, it's actually comedy. And you're like, okay, you need to change that. Okay, so then you do it again. And well, the challenge would be like to manage to do it the right way. But in self-tape, you need to watch yourself and then decide which one is the best and send it. It's always hard just to look at yourself and like, so where am I good? It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is it?
So I would say in person. Yeah.
In person is the best. Yeah. Is it competitive now? Like, well, I don't say now, but has acting, or especially for women, is it very competitive?
To me, it's not competitive, because even if there's like someone next to me looks like me, like red hair and white and all that, my age and stuff, whatever she's going to play, even if it's the same character, she would play it so differently than I do, because we all unique, all different. Like, and then it's just the color. Like, oh, the director's going to like that color doesn't mean that the other one is good or not. It's just they prefer that person. So as long as the only thing you can do is just like play the best you can, and then hope for the best.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's competitive. I don't think it is, even though we are lots of people. But yeah, it's not like any other job. Like everybody can do it, but it's going to be so a different version each time. So
yeah. Now, when you said anybody can do it, do you not think that acting is hard?
Oh yeah, it is. No. I mean,
Okay.
anybody as actors, like any actor can do, can play Hamlet. I
Yes.
think. Well, good actors, like let's say they can play Hamlet. Even now, girls doing it. I did it and I loved it. But it's gonna be like it's same thing like when you watch great actors like Al Pacino is gonna play a great character, like he played Richard III. He was great in it. If you ask Robert De Niro, who's a great actor as well, he would play Richard III differently, and
That's right.
it would be good as well, but it will be different. So to me, it's the same when it comes to castings and direct and acting. It's just I'm going to play it this way, and someone's going to play it differently, and then we'll see who which person's preferred. It's picked.
Yeah. Do you think, you just mentioned, I think, two very great actors. Do you think great actors are born, or do you think a person can learn to be a great actor?
Some people can learn, because sometimes when you watch actors, let's say, there's a few actors I've seen from their debut and now, and you're like, they're great now. Sometimes at the beginning they're not that good because we're still learning and stuff. And I think you need some talent because you need to adapt. You need to be observant, like you need to watch people, how to. So it's really hard question. but I think, yeah, because sometimes when you watch, I don't know, like when, for instance, I don't know, I watch Harry Potter. I'm taking, because there are a lot of kids in it at the beginning and now they're adults. Some you would watch them and in the beginning you're like, they don't seem good in that. In the first film, the teachers are amazing, obviously, but beginning they're not very great, and towards the end they're really, very good because they learned how to play, how to act, and not to be like too. At the beginning, you see that they can play, like they're acting, that you can see they're acting, and then they become more and more and more natural. So I think you learn over the years, and that's what's great about this acting. It's you're always learning, all the time. Even I'm sure even Al Pacino is still learning, and even though you're like he doesn't need to learn anything else, yeah, he can. He actually can still learn some stuff. So that's what's great about it.
Yeah. Well, for you, is that the same thing that's happening to you? Like, do you see the difference between you now as opposed to when you first started when you were 16?
Yeah, because you need to be confident about yourself. It's not easy. Like it happened to me last few months. Last year, I started to be like a little bit more confident. Yeah, you need to be confident and also handle stress. When you start, sometimes you can be like petrified, and some of the time you're handling it and everything. Like I know, like before I'm going on stage, if I don't feel like adrenaline, this fear, I know I'm not going to be good. If I'll go there like, hey, what's up? I'm not going to be good. But if I have this fear before I go in, then it would help me to be better. And I don't know, I can't explain it, but I need that. I need this adrenaline just right before I'm going on stage. And the same thing when it comes to camera. I just need that. So I think you learn at least to, and also how to, for camera is different because theater is different, how you need to be on stage and stuff. But in camera, you can't move a lot because the camera is taking everything. And so there's a lot of methods. You learn about methods, what's good, where the camera is, how you need to place yourself. So yeah, definitely there's like, I'm better now, I think, at that than I was at the very, very beginning. But when you're at the beginning, also you can be very good because you don't know anything, so you just go ahead, you're just doing it, and then you don't think, and you're like, yeah, it's great. And then you started thinking, it's like, oh, I did that, I want to do it again the same way. Actually, you can't, you shouldn't do that. So yeah.
When did you understand and know what an actor does and is, and like what their role is in theater and as well as television or screen? Did you know instantly at 16, or did you kind of learn that over time?
What do you mean,
when you first learn acting, you kind of learn the craft of acting. I don't think and again, I'm not an actor, so I'm assuming that you're learning the craft of acting, but you don't necessarily know how you apply to the story, how you want the director to bring things out. Like, there are a lot of things that you are trying to accomplish, not just simply acting.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. It goes the same way when you go for casting, isn't it? Like, you read a play or a book, because now books are on films, and you have your version of the character, because sometimes you have a description, sometimes you don't. And with what you've got, what you are, and what the character is, and how it's written and everything, you're starting to learn. It's like, oh, here in there's no punctuation, so he must go really, really fast, and here is like talking properly, and some other is like, very ghetto and stuff. So you have all that at first, like, so everything is in the text, and then you just bring the version that you think is best, and then the director, if you're taken, is going to tell you basically his version, and you have your version, and the best thing to do is just to meet in the middle, like to go as close as the character wants it to, because basically the director it's the casting director told me that last week, is like, he has a dream,